The Educator's Guide to Successful and High-Impact Mural Projects. I am Austin Gregory, Washington Art Educator of the Year. I teach at a Perkins Elementary School, K-5 art. I am a community art leader facilitating public art installations and mural projects, a circle painting and draw all you can facilitator.
Yes, this is hip, hip, hooray. I'm the founder of the Circle Painting and the creator of Draw All You Can. And it's my honor to be here and share the experience of making mural with all of you. I have done many, many, many murals around the country and overseas. So I'm glad that we have this opportunity to share the experience with all of you.
So over the years, Hip and I have gathered common questions about how to create these mural projects. And the ones that we're going to specifically address today are on the topics of vision and purpose, process, and materials. And then there's a fourth thing that is really important to think about. What is really holding us back from being able to confidently do a mural project? Things like lack of experience, fear of making mistakes. Even art teachers can have that fear of making mistakes, especially when we're doing big projects. Time constraints is a reality, resource shortages, approval challenges from admin or from other sources. But also, is there something else specifically that you feel is holding you back from being able to do a project? And if there's something else specific, please throw that into the chat.
Mm.
So let's jump into process. The biggest problem that Hip and I have right now is that we want to share a lot of info with you in a short amount of time. So we're going to get right into it here with process and the first step of the process of a project like this. There's pre-production. Things need to be done before we actually get to the fun part of painting. What we're going to touch base on today is highlighted in red there: define the vision and purpose, build a core team, select location, materials, and community engagement. And then we will have future meetings like this where we'll go into the other topics that you see there as well. So starting with defining the vision and purpose. Hip, would you like to speak to this one?
Yes, so on this list, can you identify something that resonate with you? Why you show up in this workshop anyway, right? Do you want to advocate your art program, or you yearn for the recognition that you deserve, or strengthen the connection with the community within and without the school? You know, have a sense, build a sense of belonging and engagement with your students. And if your school is run down, you want to transform it, or if it's a new, you want to brighten, make something beautiful. And the last is have the information that you need in order to execute it, right? So what is some of your goal, or all of the above?
Very first step is in putting together your core team that you're working with. And the core team isn't everyone that's going to be involved. These are the main players that are going to help this mural come to life. Yeah, and in thinking about community murals that are outside of school situations, look to businesses as well that can help out and be supportive members.
Mm-hmm. And we can also be your team, Austin and I. That's why we create this presentation. All right. So in terms of this, figure out what kind of mural that we want to create. One is stationary or more somewhat permanent, is on wall or on concrete floor. The other one is more movable, more temporary. It can be panel or banners, right? So you can start thinking about what type of mural that you want, um, or appropriate with the location that you envision.
Thinking of choosing a location. Here we're giving ideas, examples of what an ideal location would be. Something that has a lot of visibility to it, well lit, clean, paintable, meaning that the texture of the wall is paintable. And these are, if you have a lot of choice, this is what you want to look for in an ideal location. And I think this wall right here in this picture was transformed into this gorgeous piece here.
So this is at the elementary, it's called Bunchy Elementary School in Compton School District.
And then this next picture here is a community-based mural that I did at a park shelter near a beach. Again, it was a very nice location. It was not high. The ground was flat. So I've ended up in situations where the wall is actually on a hill, and that causes some its own challenges. One thing that wasn't ideal about this wall, though, was the texture of it. The brick was actually pretty bumpy and caused some challenges to work on. Another park shelter type building that I have had the opportunity to work on. Me with a group of high school students and community input designed and painted this piece here. Great location. It has that awning to protect it from the elements, and access to water and power is really nice. Makes things go smoothly. And so these last pictures we showed you were all really ideal locations to work in. A few things to keep in mind for things to avoid. If you can, a wall that faces direct sunlight, simply because the colors will fade out more quickly if it's in direct sunlight. The rough and protruding bricks, like that situation at the park shelter that I ended up working on. If you can avoid that, it's great. Um, Not being near uh, an area where it's going to be damp and drainage. And then, since we're primarily talking about school murals here, uh, avoiding things that are too high and dangerous, because that's going to be difficult doing with students.
Mm.
Although I'm not afraid to get up on a high scissor lift for some of the projects I've personally done,
Yeah.
but not for students.
Mhm.
So alternatives, if the location where the mural is going to go is not ideal or not an ideal working space. This example was at a elementary school, and we painted onto these panels, and this is not the location of the where the mural ended up. This was a different spot in the school where we had more space to do our painting. And then we were able to take these panels and attach them to the wall here. And this was in a stairwell space. It's right at the front of the school, so it is very visible. It gets lots of traffic, but it was pretty narrow, and it wasn't going to be a great space to do the actual painting. So that's why we painted someplace else and then attached these panels to the wall. This is really thin wood panels. It almost looks like it was painted right onto the wall because of how thin these wood panels are.
Mm. Beautiful.
Thank you. And one more idea to share with you. There's a product called Polytab. Its nickname is Mural Cloth. It's in these two examples that you see here, the mural cloth is actually being used in the smaller paintings within these larger paintings. And this gave the opportunity to allow students to work at separate tables at their desks, and get a higher level of detail into these individual pieces versus if they were just painting straight onto the wall. and then this material can be glued onto the wall. It's like canvas, but it's synthetic. It's very strong, very flat and flexible, and can really just mold right onto a wall, the surface of the wall, even if there's a little bit of texture to it. And then you glue that on, and it's another nice solution if painting right onto the wall isn't gonna work out for one reason or another. Some artists are doing entire murals using this method, painting on big pieces of the polytab and then adding them onto the wall. Great option if you're in an environment where painting outside just isn't going to be ideal for the time of the year that the project needs to happen. It can be painted indoors and then still go onto an exterior wall.
This photo is taken from Hong Kong. We have a project where 300 students show up at a mall, and this large painting is combined from multiple strip of raw canvas, right? It's similar to the polytab that Austin mentioned, and so after they painted this mural together, I didn't show the whole process, but
Sure.
just the materials that I'm talking about, and then these painting was displayed uh, in the mall, and then go to different location, the school, in auditoriums, and so it become kind of like a traveling, and also it's an installation. So mural is not necessary that it have to be on the wall or on the floor, but it can be a movable installation.
No wall, no problem. So here was another situation where I was working with a neighborhood group, and we the idea was to bring art to a park that was being revitalized, and but there wasn't a wall for us to paint on there. So we painted on these panels, and then these panels got assembled into these boxes, and these are actually those posts are we poured little concrete footings so that that it would be nice and secured to the ground. And that's a new flower bed or garden bed that was being planted. So we created these in the round mural boxes. And another great thing about them is that even in the wintertime, when there's not as many nice flowers and color, we have these colorful mural boxes there to enjoy all year round. And another option, we did a painting on a path that connected. This is in the same neighborhood from the residential area, and then there's this main path that a lot of the kids would walk down to get to the school. There was some unwanted behavior, such as dumping trash happening along this path, and so bringing in art helps to uh, um, activate the space, deter unwanted behavior, help the neighbors take more ownership over the space. So we painted right on the sidewalk. And a lot of people ask me, you can see in the left-hand corner there, this one was painted in 2021. It's not far from my house. I go past it all the time because I've been curious about how it's been going to hold up uh, over the years through the weather. And like 4 years later now, almost, it still looks really great. So I'm impressed. It's looking good.
Mhm. So this is a clip from the mural at David's the middle school. So you can see the scale. Becky,
Vellum.
share a little bit about this experience.
It was amazing to see how it just got built, and I was when we made the plan, like, oh, we'll have people throughout the day stop by and just do parts. And I had colleagues spend hours on the mural, and it was the highlight of their conference. And then not only was it that long, it ended up getting double the size.
Mm.
And we actually still have it. We hang it at conferences. Um, and it is the most spectacular background mural that it's great. It travels around. And we did it on like a plastic backlight film.
So here is a suggestion of materials. If you want to maybe take a screenshot of this slide here, and each mural project is going to have its own special requirements, but this is a nice, that essentials column in the middle gives you a good starting point. Also, it's a lot of little things. It's not, I don't want people to be overwhelmed by the length of this list. These are just some of those things that you might not have thought of that are going to be really nice to have and make the mural job go smoothly. And if you, and I hope that you will be working with Hip and I in the future, we bring many of these things to the project for you. We thought we would just, this is one of those very common questions that we receive. What kind of paint are you using? So we thought we'd just share briefly about paints that work. We're not sponsored or endorsed by any of these brands, but they're ones that we found work really well for us. Using a lot of mural supplies come straight from the regular hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot type store. Kills primer, you can get it for indoor or exterior use. The large areas of your mural, we're using regular latex house paint, again, interior or exterior, depending on the location. Buying it in gallons and then being able to mix colors into smaller containers. When you're ready for your smaller detail area, the consistency of an acrylic paint is going to be nicer to paint details with than the consistency of latex paint. So shifting to your acrylics, just about any acrylic is going to work, but Nova Color is a really great brand that is a high quality paint at its price point. So we just threw that in there as an idea to check out, and then often applying a protective top coat at the very end of the project. Spray paint, the question of spray paint comes up frequently. I've had people ask me if spray paint is the only way to paint a mural. And no, absolutely, it's not. Spray paint is great. It's fun and exciting. It's fast. You can work really quickly with the spray paint. Those are advantages. It's great if you're working on a bumpy surface, a rough textured surface, then absolutely I want to go to spray paint. But it takes a lot more practice to get comfortable being good with spray paint than it does handing somebody a brush for the first time.
Kind of like promoting this material is under layman roofing paper. I discovered it about 10, 15 years ago, and I never look back. I always use this for many, many projects. You can easily get these roll roofing paper in Lowe or Home Depot, and it's like 35. It used to be $21, but now it's 35, and it comes in a roll that like hundreds of feet. Feet and it's very durable. For the indoor, usually or lightweight, that I use the 15. If having it display semi outdoor, that I use the 30. It's pretty heavy kind of thing, and yet it stay in shape and not like bend or floppy like canvas or other materials. So I do like this material. You can cut it into shape, into size that you like. Depend on the school setting. I used to do large mural with gigantic painting, but it ended up too big to display, right? So, but with this kind of material, you can have it to the size that you like. Into the very important aspect of the mural, the community engagement.
In school situations, getting your administrators on board is going to make the entire process so much easier, and it's probably impossible to do one of these projects if you don't have the approval of principals, heads of schools, administrators. So getting them excited about the project, what the benefits are, and getting them involved.
So my experience is that a lot of time the principal like the idea, right? But no, it's still like half-hearted until he or she actually experience paint something, right? So when I come to have the first meeting, I have a little project, so they can actually paint something and involved in the process of uh, create a first uh, design, small ideas, so they can have some input, and from there they see like, oh, I actually can be involved.
And this also connects with integrating the art with bigger curriculum pictures, because when many of us are art teachers, and we know the importance and the power of art in education. But here is an example of illustrating critical thinking, and how wonderful is it to have a giant, amazing piece of art to help share that message, teach that lesson.
Right. So the student get involved into a process of designing uh, through one of the project that I've done with the student. Besides the co-painting, is draw all you can. So so they have the input, their idea into the mural that you saw earlier. The large one is combine several idea of the students, and so they can feel like they actual input, not just from hip only, right?
Are parents involved? Uh, there are always plenty of volunteer opportunities that are perfect to plug parents into for murals, whether they can help out for the entire process or just for an hour here and there. Um, and we always have a diversity of cultures that are coming together to work on these projects, and getting the parents involved is another opportunity to celebrate that diversity.
And then also the parents also help with the fundraising, get some sponsorship from their connection.
In contact with those local businesses. There are so many businesses that will be really excited to partner with these kinds of projects and provide
It's
resources.
a win-win situation when the business, they, almost all the business, they have the funding to give to community, but they don't know where to give. And it's also an opportunity for them to promote or advertise their brand. And they are more than happy to sponsor part or all of the mural. So my experience, like at least 2 murals that was sponsored by business.
So let's take a look at some nuts and bolts of implementing and executing an actual project, including site preparation, painting techniques, final touch-ups, and cleanup. Maintaining the service, giving yourself a good foundation is super duper critical.
Yes. So that's a requirement. When I working with a mural, I would ask the teachers or the staff arrange the custodian, or sometimes I have to bring my own power wash to clean it before the event.
Share a couple of methods for doing that using projectors and grids. Projector is not cheating. It's a tool that we can use.
That you see earlier was more organic. Wow.
And I just like to share this because I was even impressed with how big of a projection I was able to do with this small, pretty inexpensive projector that I got. That's a real picture and of me using that projector that's in my hand to do this dragon mural. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get it in all in one shot, but I was able to. So these little projectors are really great these days. Another method is the doodle grid. And a doodle grid is a really great solution if you can't use a projector because you're in a space that you just can't use a projector. And I also love the doodle grid because of the big, enormous wow factor that it has in going from what you see on the left-hand side of the screen there to the finished piece on the right-hand side of the screen. So the doodle grid method, I'll just share briefly. You start by putting all sorts of random marks onto your wall. It can be words, or it really can just be random marks, and then you take a picture of that. This method only works now that with the modern technologies that we have that are so easy, phones and iPads and stuff like that. Take a picture of all those crazy designs that you put on your wall. Then you overlay your design on top of that, and that's what you see on the right-hand side of the screen here. And you adjust the transparency so that you can see both of the designs at the same time. And then what you've done is created all of these different reference points for you to scale up your design. And it just feels like magic. It works so smoothly and easily. Here I am. So I made myself a printout of that design. I've even just worked from my phone as well. A little harder working from my phone, and sketch the outline of the design on. And then it's pretty much like a coloring book, and you fill in the colors and final result there on the right-hand side. And anytime you have the opportunity to add something in that'll be a little bit interactive, you will get even more interaction with your mural. People like to then take their pictures in front of it, and then those pictures get posted to people's social media pages, and hopefully they're tagging you, they're tagging the school, they're tagging the business that the mural is at. So all that additional free advertising and exposure. Doing interactive murals is a lot of fun.
Right. The mural, the life of mural go beyond just one-time event.
Yes. And at the end, we've got post-production work to do, storytelling and documentation, celebrating and acknowledgements, and creating a maintenance plan. And these are things that we'll go into a little bit more in future presentations, but I do have a brief video showing the storytelling and the celebration of a mural that was a community mural that was completed last summer. And
just really celebrating the river. We're at Gateway Park North in Georgetown. We're here as a statement that like the Georgetown community loved our river. We value it. We need access to it. Like as you can see, like this park is fenced off. It's like not currently publicly accessible. Like it's our only access point to the river as a neighborhood. We're a riverfront community, and I think we really need that space to be on the river and like to kind of give our love to the river and receive love from it. So yeah, that's why we're here today.
Yeah, here we are at Gateway Park North, which is in Georgetown. We're doing art, which is amazing, making this amazing mural. And we also have free food from Global Chill and drinks from Diaspora Cafe. We just had a beautiful music circle with tons of drums and cajones and all sorts of percussion instruments that I put on Plaza Artista. And then we've got a bunch of the community partners here. The Port of Seattle is here, Georgetown History organization, I can't remember their name. A whole bunch of different community orgs are here to hang out and celebrate this space, which is sort of a neglected space. It's the only waterfront point in Georgetown, public space, and we want it to be noticed. We want it to be invigorated. We want this to be someplace that the community can come and enjoy. So that's what we're doing here today. Having fun. Oh, my name's Priya.
And another example of telling a story is in this video clip.
That we all did it and we followed your directions and we intersected, we connected, we empathized, we enhanced, and we were very intentional. Is active research in action for you. For you to see, you taught us, and now we are showing you what we learned.
And one more that is just the cutest. We'll roll right into this one.
Everybody just working together. This is why this looks so good. Because everybody put effort into it. It wasn't just one person, two people. It was a whole school. Yes, it's just helping people. You don't like, if you don't like this, you don't like the work. Collaboration is all this into one. That's why it's so perfect.
We are just about at the end of this part of our presentation, and then we'll open up for some questions and conversation. And here is
So the picture here is all the staff at David's middle school celebration after finished the mural, to see how they feel a sense of belonging, sense of contribution, sense of we're in it together. So
why would people want to work with us, HIP? Really, the question is, why wouldn't people want to work with us? And also, it's really exciting to bring in a guest artist. I've been at this, you know, being a teacher myself. I always love getting another artist, another guest to come into the school, to come into the classroom. There's that a wow factor to that for the kids, that something different and special is happening. You're bringing in new artists. We all bring something, a different piece of the puzzle together to make these things happen.
mm-hmm. And my expertise is the community engagement. I love to work with you to involve all the students, all the staff, and also, you know, even though you invite us to do the mural, but you know, the credit is also on you as well. So you being you know, being recognized for your time and effort, and also, you know, once you know you have the experience, you can multiply that and you do you know, many other mural in the future. You know, you save time and energy and also money, so you can have more influence in your school setting.
Here's how you can reach out to us, and
yeah, so I, as a freelance artist, teaching artist, my interest would be to do something in our small town. My general question to you is like, where to begin to figure out something in the community to start, to do. Like, do you look first for like a wall somewhere that looks like it needs something, or like where would you begin if you're like, okay, I want to do a community project with kids to empower them to offer something to the community?
one other suggestion as an entry way into mural art, if you don't have any kind of a portfolio yet to share, well, of course, you can hire Hip and I, and then we have examples to share. But do something that is on panels. Maybe it's a modest size, and then start looking for some place that can be displayed, because you might have the opportunity to temporarily display it at a business, and that's just a first step, foot in the door, and then people get excited about that, and then they're ready to have something actually painted onto a wall.
Nice. Thank you.
Can I add something real quick to that discussion?
Please.
Yes.
I was just the mural that I was approached to do, and I think this might be good for many cities. These pickleball courts. So there's a lot of cities putting in pickleball courts, and they either have ugly concrete wall, retaining wall, or they've got the big chain link fence, and kind of like what you were saying, big pieces of plywood like sandwiched together. If you like hear about your city or the city council meetings that they're proposing this, or even taking something to the city council meeting to say, here's an idea to beautify the city, and see if they have any funding. And there's something in the state of Washington, they've created like creative sectors. And so you might have your, like there's the Battleground Arts Alliance or Ridgefield Art Alliance. They have conduits of funding coming from the Commerce Department to enhance arts in the community, and they might be looking for something to spend that money on. So check in with like city councils. Schools are nice, but schools have a lack of funding right now. But cities don't. Well, they probably do too. But there is money coming down from the creative sector, and try to tap into those as well.
Yeah, usually they have the call for artists for murals. We just need to pay attention to those call.
I was
Okay,
gonna
great.
say that exact thing happened a couple years ago, where there's a VFW that's run down in my neighborhood. Some people started using it. They wanted to revitalize it because it looked really bad. And they wanted to get murals, and they didn't have all of the funds, so they approached city council, and they were willing to give them partial funding for it because it was a bit of an eyesore in the neighborhood. So yeah, and I also just wanted to thank you. This was, really great and inspiring. To just see all your work. I think I took mostly screenshots of just the different murals you all did, as opposed to taking notes. So
Art
Art
Arts
for all.
for all.
All
All
for art.
for
for
art.
art.
How about
All for perseverance. That's a mouthful.
the empowerment?
Empowerment for all.
All.
All for empowerment.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Alice. Thank you,
Thank you.
Becky, Joanne.
Thank you,
Especially
Hip. Thank
Austin,
you,
for working.
Austin.
Mhm.
If you want WAEA clock hours for this presentation, we will clock it at 2 hours and fill out the
Wow.
form that is on the website.
Aw.